Did you know that your thoughts have the power to shape your entire life? It's true. How you think, what you focus on, and the stories you tell yourself can either propel you forward or keep you stuck. If you want to truly transform your life, you need to start with your inner landscape. The wisdom of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius offers us profound insights into mastering our thoughts and emotions, helping us build a life of peace, resilience, and purpose. Avoid this mistake, believing that external factors are what truly determine your happiness and success. The truth is, your peace of mind and your personal growth are all within your control. In this video, we'll dive deep into 11 vital things you need to cut out of your life to unlock your true potential. From letting go of unnecessary goals to breaking free from the need for external validation, this isn't just another video. It's a journey toward becoming the best version of yourself. Stay with us and let's begin. Number 1. The power of your thoughts. How to transform your life. Have you ever paused for a moment away from the chaos and simply observed your thoughts? Not the quick ones that flit through your mind when you're distracted by your phone or TV, but the deep, lingering ones. The ones that quietly shape how you see the world and yourself. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and emperor, once said, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." Let that sink in. It's not what others think of you, nor the circumstances you find yourself in. It's your thoughts. Think back to when you accomplished something you once believed impossible. Maybe it was acing a test, nailing an interview, or getting through a particularly tough time in life. Do you remember the fear before you started, the nagging doubt whispering, "You can't do this"? But then something shifted. Maybe it was a moment of courage, a kind word from someone, or just sheer determination. You told yourself, "I've got this," and suddenly the impossible felt within reach. This is the power of your thoughts. They can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Now imagine if you took control of that power daily. Instead of letting negativity fester, you consciously redirected your mind toward gratitude, confidence, and calm. Picture it, waking up each morning with a sense of purpose, tackling your to-do list with focus, and navigating life's challenges with grace. But let's not pretend it's easy. It's natural for your mind to wander into dark places. We've all had those late nights, lying awake, replaying embarrassing moments from years ago, or worrying about things we can't control. It's like our brains are hardwired to focus on the negatives. Yet, what if I told you that you hold the key to rewriting that script? Close your eyes for a second. Think about a time when you felt completely at peace. Maybe it was a family barbecue on a sunny afternoon, a quiet moment on a hike, or even just sipping coffee while watching the rain. That peace didn't come from the world outside, it came from within. Now imagine tapping into that feeling whenever you need it. The world can remain chaotic, but you stay grounded, unshaken, in control. The mind is like a garden. Left untended, it can become overrun with weeds of doubt and negativity. But with care, intention, and a little effort every day, it can flourish. So the question is, are you ready to transform your life by transforming your thoughts? Number 2, stop explaining yourself, protect your peace and move on. Picture this. A close friend betrays you. Maybe they've gossiped behind your back or turned their back on you in your moment of need. The pain hits deep. It's a mix of anger, sadness, and confusion. You want to confront them to make them understand the depth of your hurt. You rehearse the words in your head, imagining how they'd react. Maybe they'd apologize, maybe they wouldn't. Either way, you're drawn to explain yourself, to make them see your side. Now ask yourself why. Think about it. When someone breaks your trust, explaining yourself rarely changes anything. It doesn't erase the hurt, and more often than not, it's exhausting. Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." When you protect your peace, you reclaim your power. But let's be honest, walking away isn't easy, especially when it's someone you once held close. Maybe it's a best friend from childhood, a partner, or even a family member. You shared years, secrets, and memories. How do you let go of something so intertwined with your identity? Think back to a time when you've done just that, distanced yourself from someone toxic. It wasn't immediate, was it? Maybe you agonized over the decision, replayed the arguments, questioned if you were overreacting, but eventually the silence brought clarity. You began to see their actions for what they were, not mistakes, but patterns. Do you remember the weightlifting, that first breath of relief, when you realized you didn't have to keep carrying the burden? That's the peace we're talking about. It's not loud or dramatic, it's quiet, like a river carving its path over time. Here's the catch. When you stop explaining yourself, people might misinterpret it. They may call you cold, stubborn, or indifferent, but deep down you know the truth. It's not about revenge or winning. It's about choosing yourself. It's about saying, I deserve better than to fight for space in someone's life who doesn't value me. Now take a moment, think about the people in your life. Are there relationships where you're constantly explaining yourself, where you're seeking approval, trying to fix things, or fighting to be understood? What if, instead of engaging, you simply stepped back? Number 3, letting go of unnecessary goals. Focus on what truly matters. When you were a kid, what did you dream of becoming? Maybe an astronaut, a rock star, or even a superhero. Those dreams felt limitless, didn't they? But as you grew up, the world started whispering its expectations. Get a degree, climb the career ladder, buy a house, build a family. Suddenly, life felt like a checklist. Now ask yourself, how many of those goals are yours? It's easy to fall into the trap of chasing goals that don't truly resonate with us. Maybe it's that promotion at work that everyone says you should want. But deep down, you know it would mean more stress and less time for the things you love. Or maybe it's that picture-perfect relationship that looks great on Instagram but leaves you feeling empty. Letting go of unnecessary goals isn't about giving up. It's about making space for what truly matters. It's about aligning your actions with your values, not society's script. But letting go can feel like failure, can't it? After all, we're taught to never quit. Think back to a goal you once abandoned. Maybe it was a sport you loved as a kid but grew out of, or a career path that no longer inspired you. At first, it probably felt like loss. You might have wondered, what if I'm making a mistake? But over time, you realized something. By letting go, you gained freedom. Freedom to pursue something that truly fulfilled you. Now, imagine what your life could look like if you applied that same principle today. Picture clearing away the clutter of other people's expectations, the should-haves and could-haves, to focus on your true priorities. Imagine a life where every goal you chase feels meaningful, where your time and energy go toward building a life that's authentically yours. It's not about being reckless or impulsive, it's about being intentional. It's about recognizing that time is finite, as Seneca reminds us. It is not that we have so little time, but that we lose so much. Take a moment. Think about the goals you're chasing right now. Are they aligned with your values? Are they bringing you closer to the life you truly want? Or are they just noise, distracting you from what really matters? Number 4, the end of relationships. Why discretion is key. Have you ever been through the end of a relationship? Maybe it was with a partner, a best friend, or even a family member. At first, it feels like the world's spotlight is on you, doesn't it? You hear the whispers, feel the questions, and see the subtle glances of those who think they know your story. Some people demand details, some speculate, and others watch silently. But deep down, there's this urge within you to explain, to defend, to tell your side. Pause for a moment and think about why. Why do we feel this need to turn our private pain into public knowledge? Perhaps it's because the loss of a relationship shakes something core within us. It questions our worth, our decisions, and even our identity. Sharing the story feels like a way to validate ourselves, to make sense of the chaos. But here's the truth. The more you explain, the less peace you find. The Stoics teach us to value discretion and self-control. Epictetus reminds us, first, learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak. When it comes to the end of a relationship, silence isn't weakness, it's strength. It's choosing dignity over drama, healing over vengeance. Think back to the most painful goodbye you've experienced. Perhaps it was messy, filled with anger and words you wish you could take back. Or maybe it was silent, a slow drift that left questions unanswered. Regardless of how it happened, remember the aftermath. Did talking about it help, or did it leave you more entangled in the pain? Now imagine if you had simply stepped back. No explanations, no justifications, just quiet reflection and a focus on moving forward. Imagine the power in protecting your story, keeping it safe from misinterpretation and gossip. There's a certain peace in holding your truth close, isn't there? The next time a relationship ends, ask yourself, does explaining it to others help you heal, or does it reopen the wound? Would silence serve you better? Number 5. Mastering your emotions. Why raising your voice never helps. We've all been there, a moment of frustration so overwhelming that it spills out in raised voices, sharp words, and flaring tempers. It might have been a heated argument with a loved one, a co-worker pushing your limits, or even a stranger cutting you off in traffic. For a brief second, it feels like shouting will solve it, like louder words carry more weight. But does it ever really help? Think about the last time you lost your temper. Sure, you might have made your point, but what happened next? Did the other person suddenly agree, or did they dig their heels in deeper? Did you feel relief, or did guilt creep in, making you question if the outburst was worth it? Raising your voice is like trying to extinguish a fire with gasoline. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In the heat of an argument, the true test isn't in proving you're right, it's in keeping your composure. Now, let's flip the perspective. Think of a time when someone shouted at you. Maybe it was a parent, a boss, or even a friend. Do you remember what they said, or do you mostly remember how it felt? That rush of defensiveness, the wall you put up to protect yourself. When voices are raised, understanding shuts down. But here's something powerful. You don't have to match their energy. Picture yourself in the middle of an argument, but instead of reacting, you pause, you breathe, you lower your voice. What happens? The room shifts. The other person doesn't expect it. They're forced to listen. Mastering your emotions isn't about suppressing them. It's about channeling them. It's about recognizing that true power lies in calmness. Think of the people you admire most. Are they the ones who yell, or the ones who remain steady in the face of chaos? The next time you feel your temper rising, remember this. You have a choice. Will you let the moment control you, or will you rise above it? Number 6. The dangers of negative opinions. Build trust, not drama. Do you remember the last time someone shared their negative opinion about someone else? Maybe it was subtle, a sarcastic comment, a roll of the eyes, or maybe it was blatant gossip. How did it make you feel? Did you join in, or did it leave a bitter taste in your mouth? Negative opinions are like a virus. They spread quickly and weaken the bonds between people. It's easy to judge others, to point out their flaws and mistakes. But what does it really accomplish? Does it build trust, or does it create walls? Imagine you're at work. A co-worker criticizes someone behind their back. For a moment, it feels like a connection. You both share the same frustration, the same complaints. But then a thought creeps in. If they're saying this about someone else, what are they saying about me? This is the trap of negativity. It promises connection, but delivers isolation. Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Instead of criticizing others, focus on building empathy. and understanding. Now think about a time when you were the subject of someone's negative opinions. Maybe you found out through a mutual friend, or maybe you overheard it. Do you remember the sting, the frustration, the sense of betrayal? That's the impact we leave when we choose judgment over compassion. But here's the twist. When we refrain from sharing negative opinions, we don't just protect others, we protect ourselves. We create an environment of trust where people feel safe to be themselves without fear of judgment. So the next time you're tempted to share a negative opinion, pause. Ask yourself, does this build trust or break it? Will these words bring us closer or push us further apart? Number 7, stop comparing yourself to others. Embrace your unique journey. Take a moment to think about the last time you compared yourself to someone else. Maybe it was scrolling through social media, where picture-perfect snapshots of other people's lives left you questioning your own. Or perhaps it happened at work or a social gathering, where someone else's achievements made yours feel insignificant. That sinking feeling, it's familiar, isn't it? Comparison is like a thief, silently stealing your joy and replacing it with self-doubt. It tricks you into believing that someone else's success diminishes your own. But here's the thing. Life isn't a competition. It's a personal journey, unique to each of us. Imagine this. You're hiking up a mountain. The path is rocky and your legs ache, but you're making progress. Then you glance over and see someone running up a smoother trail. You immediately feel frustrated. Why is their journey easier? Why are they moving faster? But what you don't see are the challenges they've faced, the struggles they've overcome, or the mountains they've already climbed. Now, think back to a time when you felt truly proud of yourself, not because you measured up to someone else, but because you accomplished something meaningful to you. Maybe it was finishing a project, overcoming a personal fear, or even just getting through a tough day. That sense of pride came from within, didn't it? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Control your perceptions, direct your actions properly, and willingly accept what is outside your control." Comparing yourself to others distracts you from what truly matters. Your own path, your story is yours alone, filled with its own triumphs and setbacks. So, the next time you find yourself looking sideways, remember this. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you growing, learning, and becoming better? That's what truly matters. Number 8, mindful social media use, how to break free from constant comparison. Social media has become a constant companion in our lives. It's where we connect with friends, find inspiration, and share moments. But it's also where comparison thrives, isn't it? With every scroll, you're bombarded with images of someone's perfect vacation, career milestone, or seemingly flawless family life. It's like standing in a room full of people shouting their achievements while you quietly wonder if you're enough. Have you ever caught yourself feeling drained after scrolling through social media? That subtle yet persistent feeling of inadequacy creeps in, doesn't it? You start questioning your choices, your pace in life, and even your happiness. Social media, when used mindlessly, becomes less of a tool and more of a trap. Now, let's shift perspectives. Imagine social media as a highlight reel, not a reality show. Those perfect pictures, they're carefully curated. The successes, they're only part of the story. No one posts their sleepless nights, their failures, or the arguments behind the smiles. The key is mindfulness. Before you open your favorite app, ask yourself, why am I here? Is it to connect, to learn, or to mindlessly pass the time? Setting boundaries, like scheduling specific times for social media, can make all the difference. Think about how you felt the last time you took a break from social media. Maybe it was a weekend, or even just a few hours. Didn't it feel freeing? Without the constant comparisons, you could focus on what truly mattered. Your own life and experiences. Social media isn't the enemy, it's how we use it. The challenge is to approach it with intention. Instead of letting it control you, use it as a tool to enrich your life. Number 9. Breaking free from the need for external validation. Picture this. You're on stage, the spotlight shining brightly on you. The audience is watching, their eyes filled with expectation. You feel their judgment, their approval or disapproval hanging in the air. Now ask yourself, how often do you feel like this in your daily life? How much of what you do is driven by the need for someone else's applause? The need for external validation is like living in a glass house. Every move you make is visible, and every decision feels like it's under scrutiny. It's exhausting, isn't it? Yet so many of us fall into this trap, shaping our lives to fit the expectations of others. Think about a time when you made a decision based solely on what others thought. Maybe it was choosing a career path, buying something you didn't really want, or staying in a situation that didn't serve you. How did it feel? Did it bring you true happiness? Or was it a fleeting sense of approval that left you empty inside? Now imagine stepping off that stage. The spotlight fades and the only voice you hear is your own. This is the freedom of living authentically, of valuing your own opinion above the crowd's. The Stoics teach us that true contentment comes from within. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, it is not external things that trouble us, but how we perceive them. Choose to see clearly. Remember a moment when you acted purely for yourself, when you followed your intuition, your desires, your truth. Maybe it was small, like saying no to something you didn't want to do, or big, like pursuing a dream despite others' doubts. That moment of authenticity, it felt right, didn't it? Breaking free from external validation doesn't mean ignoring others. It means prioritizing your inner voice. It's about asking yourself, am I doing this for me or for them? Each step you take toward living for yourself is a step toward true freedom. Number 10, perfectionism, the silent killer of personal growth. Close your eyes and imagine a moment when you were striving for something, a project, a goal, or even just a simple task. You had a clear vision of how it should turn out, didn't you? Every detail had to be flawless, but as you worked, something didn't go as planned. Maybe it wasn't perfect. Maybe it didn't meet your impossibly high standards. And instead of feeling accomplished, you felt like a failure. This is the trap of perfectionism. It disguises itself as ambition, whispering that you're not enough unless everything you do is flawless. But in reality, it's a relentless critic, keeping you stuck in a cycle of stress and self-doubt. Think back to a time when you hesitated to start something because you were afraid it wouldn't be perfect. Maybe it was writing that book, starting that business, or even reaching out to someone. How many moments of joy and growth have slipped away because perfectionism held you back? Life, much like art, is most beautiful when it's imperfect. Picture an artist painting a masterpiece. They don't aim for every brushstroke to be exact. Instead, they embrace the smudges, the layers, the unpredictability of their medium. It's the imperfections that give the painting its soul. Now, consider your own journey. Every setback, every misstep is like a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. It's these moments, not the perfect ones, that shape who you are. What if, instead of aiming for perfection, you aimed for progress? Perfectionism keeps us chained to fear. Fear of failing, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. But the truth is, your worth isn't measured by flawless outcomes. It's measured by your resilience, your effort, and your courage to try, even when things don't go as planned. Number 11. The harm of gossip. How to foster empathy and authentic connections. Picture this. You're in a group conversation, and the topic shifts to someone who isn't there. The words come quickly, laced with judgment or criticism. Maybe you've even participated, sharing your own thoughts. In the moment, it feels harmless, almost bonding. But later, there's a nagging discomfort, isn't there? A subtle sense that something about it wasn't right. Gossip has a way of pulling people together, but not in a healthy way. It thrives on negativity, creating an illusion of connection while eroding trust. Think about it. If someone is willing to speak poorly about others to you, what might they say about you when you're not around? Now shift the perspective. Imagine being the subject of gossip, the details of your life, your mistakes, or your struggles twisted and shared without your knowledge. How does it feel? Vulnerable, exposed, maybe even betrayed. None of us would want our lowest moments to be fodder for idle chatter. Gossip doesn't just harm its target, it tarnishes the one spreading it. Words, once spoken, can't be taken back. They leave an imprint, not just on the person being talked about, but on your own integrity. But there's another path, a more challenging yet rewarding one. It's the path of empathy. The next time you're tempted to join in on gossip, pause. Think about the person being discussed. They, like you, are navigating their own struggles, their own battles. Choosing silence or even steering the conversation toward kindness isn't just an act of respect for them. It's a step toward becoming the kind of person others trust and admire. When we focus on building each other up instead of tearing each other down, we create relationships founded on authenticity and respect. And when you lead by example, choosing empathy over negativity, you inspire others to do the same. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. As we reach the end of this transformative journey, remember, true change begins when you decide to take action. Cutting out these silent barriers in your life isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Each step you take, no matter how small, moves you closer to the peace and fulfillment you deserve. Life is too short to carry unnecessary weight. Choose to protect your energy, embrace your uniqueness, and focus on what truly matters. Dropper, if you've watched this far, it shows you're part of the rare 0.01% who actually follow through. If you're serious about building a life of resilience and growth, join our community by hitting that subscribe button. Let's continue this journey of self-discovery and transformation.